In just 42 days, the Gulf War showcased the most advanced military technology the world had ever seen. Stealth jets that couldn't be seen, missiles that flew hundreds of miles with pinpoint accuracy, and tanks that seemed unstoppable. This was more than a war, it was a live demonstration of 21st century firepower in 1991. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel, Historical Tales. Today, we're diving deep into the game-changing weapons used in the Gulf War, how they worked, who used them, and why this short conflict changed military history forever. The Gulf War wasn't just a land battle in the desert, it was a proving ground for air power, a canvas upon which the United States and its allies painted a masterpiece of technological dominance. Imagine this: Iraqi tanks dug in, the desert stretching out around them, a steel-plated army waiting for the ground war to begin. But for Saddam's forces, that ground war, that classic clash of armies, would never truly materialize. Because high above, a new kind of war was already being waged. The F-117 Nighthawk, a technological marvel cloaked in secrecy, was about to have its coming-out party. This wasn't just a plane, it was a ghost, a phantom of the night sky, slipping past radar defenses as if the laws of physics were mere suggestions. And the Nighthawk wasn't alone, it was the tip of the spear, a harbinger of American military might. Alongside it soared the F-15 Eagle, the undisputed king of dogfights, a symbol of raw air superiority. This was a plane designed to dominate the skies, and dominate it did, its very presence a suffocating blanket over Iraqi forces. Then, you had the workhorse, the F-16 Fighting Falcon, versatile and deadly, a jack-of-all-trades that could deliver ordnance with pinpoint accuracy. And for those who needed a little more persuasion, there was the A-10 Thunderbolt II, lovingly nicknamed the Warthog by the troops on the ground. This was a plane built around its gun, a 30mm cannon capable of chewing through tanks like a hot knife through butter. And let's not forget the B-52 Stratofortress, a relic of the Cold War repurposed for a new age. This behemoth of a bomber, capable of carrying an unimaginable payload, rained down destruction from altitudes that seemed impossible. The sheer scale of the air campaign was staggering. Day and night, coalition aircraft pounded Iraqi positions, crippling their command and control, decimating their supply lines, and turning their armored formations into smoldering wreckage. Think about that for a moment. Over 3,000 Iraqi tanks and vehicles were destroyed by coalition air power before the ground war even began. It was a testament to the overwhelming technological superiority of the coalition air forces and a stark reminder of the changing nature of warfare. The Gulf War wasn't just about brute force. It was about precision, about surgically removing the enemy's ability to wage war while minimizing collateral damage. It was the coming-of-age party for smart weapons, guided munitions that could hit a target with an accuracy that seemed like science fiction just a few years prior. The Tomahawk cruise missile became a star of the war, a long-range weapon that could be launched from hundreds of miles away, hugging the terrain, evading enemy defenses, and delivering its payload with devastating precision. Then there were the laser-guided bombs, a collaboration between pilot and technology. A pilot would paint a target with a laser beam, and the bomb, guided by that beam, would home in on it with unerring accuracy. It was a game-changer, allowing for the destruction of key enemy infrastructure and military targets with minimal risk to civilians. But it wasn't just offensive weapons that shone on the battlefield. The Patriot missile, designed to intercept and destroy incoming ballistic missiles, became a symbol of hope for Israel as it faced the threat of Iraqi Scud missile attacks. The Scuds, while largely inaccurate, were a psychological weapon, a way for Saddam to try and draw Israel into the conflict. The Patriot, while not always successful, provided a much-needed sense of security. The use of smart weapons in the Gulf War marked a turning point in military history. It showed the world the potential of precision warfare, of minimizing civilian casualties while maximizing military effectiveness. But it also raised questions about the future of warfare, about the ethics of remote killing, and the potential for unintended consequences. These are questions we still grapple with today, as technology continues to outpace our ability to fully understand its implications. The ground war, when it finally came, was almost anticlimactic. After weeks of relentless aerial bombardment, Iraqi forces were demoralized, disorganized, and outmatched. But even in the face of overwhelming odds, there were still moments of intense combat, clashes of steel and fury that would cement the legacy of some of the most iconic military vehicles in history. The M1A1 Abrams tank, the pride of the U.S. Army, put on a show of force that stunned the world. This technological marvel, with its Chobam armor, its powerful 120mm cannon, and its advanced fire control system, was practically untouchable. Iraqi T-72 tanks, the backbone of Saddam's armored forces, were woefully outmatched. They were sitting ducks, easy prey for the Abrams' superior firepower and accuracy. The British Challenger 1 tank, while not as numerous as the Abrams, also proved its mettle in the desert. Its powerful rifled cannon capable of penetrating Iraqi armor from long range. But it wasn't just a tank battle. The AH-64 Apache helicopter, a fearsome gunship, armed with Hellfire missiles and a 30mm chain gun, rained down destruction from above. The Apaches, operating with impunity in the uncontested airspace, decimated Iraqi armor and fortifications, their thermal imaging systems allowing them to hunt down targets, even in the dead of night. The ground war was a testament to the combined arms doctrine, a symphony of destruction orchestrated by air power, armor and infantry working in perfect harmony. It was a one-sided affair, a demonstration of technological superiority that left no doubt about the outcome. But it was also a reminder of the human cost of war, of the bravery and sacrifice of the men and women who fight for their countries, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Chapter 4: Leviathan at Sea. While the deserts of Iraq might seem like an unlikely battleground for naval power, the U.S. Navy played a pivotal role in the Gulf War, projecting American might far inland and demonstrating the global reach of its maritime forces. Aircraft carriers, those floating fortresses, became the linchpins of the air campaign. The USS Saratoga and USS Midway, behemoths of the sea, launched wave after wave of aircraft, striking deep into Iraqi territory, their decks bustling with activity 24 hours a day. But it wasn't just about air power. Battleships, once thought to be relics of a bygone era, proved they still had teeth. The USS Missouri and USS Wisconsin, veterans of World War II, unleashed their 16-inch guns on Iraqi targets, their shells capable of leveling entire city blocks. Destroyers and cruisers, armed with Tomahawk cruise missiles, added to the chorus of destruction, their missiles finding targets with pinpoint accuracy. The Navy's role in the Gulf War showcased the importance of sea control, of being able to project power across the globe. It was a reminder that even in the age of air power and information warfare, the seas remain a vital theater of operations. The sight of those massive warships, their guns blazing, their decks crowded with aircraft, was a powerful symbol of American military might, a reminder to the world that the U.S. Navy remained a force to be reckoned with. But it also highlighted the logistical challenges of fighting a war so far from home, the intricate dance of supply lines and support ships that kept the fighting force supplied and operational. Chapter 5: The Silent Spectre of Chemical Warfare. The specter of chemical weapons hung heavy over the Gulf War. The memory of Saddam Hussein's use of chemical weapons against Iran and his own people was still fresh in the minds of many, and the fear that he might unleash these horrific weapons again was palpable. Troops were issued gas masks and chemical suits, trained to operate in contaminated environments, and haunted by the possibility of a chemical attack. The threat was real. Saddam had stockpiles of chemical weapons and the means to deliver them. The world watched with bated breath, wondering if he would cross that line, if he would unleash a horror that could have devastating consequences. But the chemical attack never came. Whether through fear of retaliation, a calculated decision to avoid further international condemnation, or simply a miscalculation on Saddam's part, the chemical weapons remained unused. But the fear, the constant preparation, the psychological toll of waiting for an invisible enemy to strike, those were very real. The Gulf War, though ultimately free from the horrors of chemical warfare, served as a stark reminder of the threat posed by these weapons of mass destruction, a threat that persists to this day. It underscored the importance of non-proliferation efforts, of international cooperation, and of vigilance in the face of those who would seek to unleash such horrors upon the world. The silent threat of chemical warfare, though unseen on the battlefields of Iraq, cast a long shadow over the conflict, a reminder of the dark potential that lies within humanity's grasp. Chapter 6. Echoes of a Revolution. The Gulf War, though brief, left an indelible mark on military history. It was a watershed moment, a glimpse into the future of warfare, a conflict that redefined the relationship between technology and combat. The war proved, with brutal clarity, the effectiveness of high-tech warfare, of precision-guided munitions, stealth technology, and the overwhelming power of air power. It marked a turning point, a shift from the large-scale, attritional warfare of the 20th century to a new era of information dominance, surgical strikes, and rapid maneuver. But it also raised questions that are still debated today. Did the apparent ease of victory in the Gulf War, the lack of significant coalition casualties, create a false sense of confidence, leading to later interventions that proved far more costly and complex? Did the focus on technology come at the expense of understanding the complexities of culture and politics, factors that would prove critical in subsequent conflicts? The Gulf War was a victory, but it was also a warning, a reminder that technological superiority, while important, is not a guarantee of success. It was a wake-up call for militaries around the world, a spur to innovation and adaptation, a challenge to keep pace with the ever-evolving nature of warfare. And in the deserts of Iraq, amidst the wreckage of Saddam's army, the seeds of future conflicts were sown, conflicts that would test the limits of technology and force us to confront the enduring challenges of war in an increasingly complex world. If you found this breakdown of Gulf War weapons fascinating, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into military history and tech. Got a favorite weapon from the war or want us to cover another conflict? Drop it in the comments. Until next time, stay curious and stay sharp.